Hello and welcome to this webinar from Define Instruments. My name is Roy Mulder and today we'll be looking at the Zen RTU fitted with the EtherNet IP module. Together with Stephen Proctor, our EIP consultant, we'll be looking at how to interface the EtherNet IP Zen RTU to the Rockwell Automation Logix controller and also to FactoryTalk view. First, let's look at the Zen RTU EIP. Our Zen RTU EtherNet IP module is passed by ODVA, it's passed conformance testing. We have on our website EDS files and associated Logix files, so you can download and hopefully interface this very quickly to your system. The Zen RTU EIP is configured to run in boot P mode, so you will need a boot P server on your network to work with this device. Today I don't want to focus on the configuration of this module. You'll find another webinar on our website which deals with this specifically. So today we'll just be looking at the EtherNet IP side of this product. And now I want to introduce you to Stephen Proctor, who will be taking you through Rockwell Automation Logix Controller and FactoryTalk view.
I'm going to demonstrate how to connect the Define Instruments Zen device to a Rockwell Automation Logix controller and then to the FactoryTalk view HMI. First, we need to register the EDS file, which is a file that represents the connection parameters required for Logix to connect to the device. This EDS file is available on the Define Instruments website. Within the Studio 5000 environment, under the Tools menu, we are able to select the EDS Hardware Installation tool. This EDS Installation tool is a wizard that guides us through the registration process. We'll select Next, select the Register an EDS file. We will then browse to the file that we downloaded, follow the number of steps, and finally we have confirmation that the EDS file was registered correctly. We can now create a new Logix project by selecting File and then New. In this example, we'll be using an L75 controller. We're using version 24 and the controller currently resides in a 4-slot chassis. It will take a number of seconds to build the new project. Once the new project has been created, we see the standard Logix tree on the left-hand side. At the bottom, we see the I/O configuration. We want to right-click on the backplane and select New Module so that we're able to add an Ethernet bridge. In this example, I'll be using an EN2TR Ethernet bridge. We select Create. Every module that's added to the I/O tree needs to have a unique name. Also, being an Ethernet device, we need to configure its IP address. In this example, it will be 192.168.1.129. It's also important that the major revision is specified correctly. In this example, it's revision 5. Now select OK. And we'll notice that in the I/O tree, we have the Ethernet bridge and below it an Ethernet network. You want to right-click on that Ethernet network and select New Module. We're now going to add the Zen device. An easy way to locate that device is to uncheck all the vendors and then just select the specific Define Instruments vendor. You can then see the Zen device appearing below. You want to select that and click on Create. Again, we'll give it a unique name and configure its IP address, which in this case is 192.168.1.100. In the Connections tab, we're able to adjust the Request Packet Interval, or RPI. This is the rate at which information is exchanged between the Logix controller and the device. In this case, we're going to leave it at the default 100 milliseconds. We can now see the Zen device appearing in the I/O tree. In order to present the Zen data in a more user-friendly structure, a number of user-defined data types have been created. These are available in an L5X import file which can be downloaded from the Define Instruments website. To import that file, we can select any program, right-click, select Add, and Import Routine. We will now navigate to that L5X file which we downloaded. a summary of all the components that are to be imported will be shown, which we can then accept. This partial L5X import has created a number of user-defined data types, 2 tags representing the input and output data respectively, and a mapping routine which transfers the data between these tags and the raw module-defined tags. So we'll notice the controller tags. We have these tags. That's the input, that is the output, and we can see all the Zen data structures appearing. We also have the Zen mapping routine, which copies the module input data to the newly created structured input tag, and then the converse, where the structured output tag is copied to the module output assembly. In order to place this routine on scan, we need to go to the main routine and insert a jump subroutine to call that new Zen mapping routine. Once this is done, we can just verify the controller to make sure there are no errors, and we're able to download this program to the Logix controller. This can be done by selecting Communications, Who Active. This will open the RSLinks browser. We can then browse the Ethernet network. So under the Ethernet bridge 129 that it found a 4-slot backplane, and then we select the actual controller and select download. We'll be prompted to confirm the download, and the downloading of the program to the controller will take anywhere from a number of seconds to a number of minutes depending on the size of the program. We'll then be asked whether we want to place the controller back in run mode. We'll say yes, and we can confirm that we are in run mode. It says remote run at the top and it is green. If we were to go back to the controller tags and expand, for example, the analog inputs, we can see that we are getting live data from the Zen device inside Logix. If I would adjust the voltage applied to analog input 1, we can see that the values are changing. So if I were to go to the digital output, I can actually control the onboard relays of the Zen device directly from Logix. So this concludes the connection of the Zen device to a Logix controller. We'll now look at interfacing the Zen device to FactoryTalk View. I have FactoryTalk View Studio open. The first thing we'll do is create a new application. Once the FactoryTalk View application has been created, you'll see the standard FactoryTalk View project tree. The first thing we need to do is to create a communication link to the Logix controller. This can be done by right-clicking at the top of the project, selecting Add New Server, and selecting the Rock Automation Device Server, commonly known as RSLinks Enterprise. No additional configuration is required here, so we can select OK. We'll notice in the tree that the RSLinks Enterprise item appears, and below that we can select the communication setup. This allows us to create a device shortcut to the Logix controller. We select Add, give the shortcut a name, and then on the right-hand side, we will browse to the Logix controller. We then select Apply, and press OK. We now have established a link from this FactoryTalk View project to the Logix controller. To add a new display, under Graphics, we can right-click on the display item and select New. We can then select a numeric display and add that to our display. Connected to that numeric display can be a number of functions or tags or a combination of that. We're interested in selecting tags, which will open up the FactoryTalk View tag browser. When opening the tag browser for the first time, one would need to right-click at the top and select Refresh All Folders. This will give us a list of every single tag that is available in all the Logix controllers that we fit to. Under Online, we can select the My Zen input tags, and we can see all the data structures that we expect to receive from the Zen device. and then go and select analog inputs, select the first analog input, change the format to perhaps floating point with a number of decimal places, and press OK. We now have a numeric display that's connected to the analog input data point in the Zen device. We can preview this by selecting the play button, which is the test display button at the top left. We're able to see the live value directly from the Zen device. Similarly, we can add a new display pointing to any number of those data points, including the counters, total sizes, digital inputs, etc. We can also select other items, for example, a gauge, make the range 5, go to the connection point, and again, select on tags and go and connect that to the analog input. So this concludes the connection of the Zen device to both the Logix controller as well as to the FactoryTalk View HMI.
Well, thank you for taking the time to listen to this webinar today. If you have any technical support issues or questions, please go to our website, defineinstruments.com, and click on the support section. You'll find various webinars and training sessions on there, and also you can submit a request for support, and we will try and answer your questions as soon as we can. Thank you again, and have a good day.